Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric, and Returnal is now out, and I played it for quite some time the last couple of days. In fact, I had a live stream. If you guys tuned in, I streamed this game. This had been one of my most anticipated PS5 games because, let's be real, as far as PS5 exclusives, there's only really been Demon's Souls, and even then, that was a remake. So, Returnal, basically one of the only PS5 exclusives out there right now. And I was like, all right, we need to check it out. But the main question that I kept getting during my stream is, Eric, is this $70 worthy? Well, let's talk about what type of game Returnal is first. It's a roguelike. So you find yourself in a game loop. So you start off, you progress through this, I guess, labyrinth dungeon type of Metroidvania type of environment where you encounter different enemies. You'll get different power-ups and items and upgrades as you progress, but sooner or later your character will die. There's no way around that. The whole concept of this game is dying and then repeating back from square one. That's what makes it a roguelike game. So yeah, if you do not have the patience or the morale to progress in a game for, let's say, a run has taken you over an hour, you die and you have to start over from square one without any of your progress, you probably will not enjoy this game. I know a lot of people out there, myself included, tend to not like the permadeath aspects of roguelikes so much. But certain games in the past, like Dead Cells, Binding of Isaac, provided a quick little arcade-like pick-me-up, let's give it one more go type of environment. So you usually don't see this type of genre in a full-fledged 3D platformer type of game, especially a sci-fi type of game. So this is like one of the first ever AAA roguelike games out there that I can ever recall there being. So with that said, when you think of a AAA game, you think of a game that is usually open world, a game that usually has elements that are RPG in their nature, and a game that you could sink in a good 40 plus hours in, like a, you know, Breath of the Wild, a Skyrim, a Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone, a Last of Us, you know, things like that. Huge games that provide a good narrative, a good story, a good base, things to build up on. Well, Returnal has kind of a strange cycle. So basically you find yourself on a shape-shifting alien planet, which explains why the game kind of does a procedurally generated change every time you die, and you have to basically attempt to escape. You have to find out what's going on with your past, why are you in this Groundhog Day type of loop. Along the way, you face enemies that the game almost plays kind of like a bullet hell when the enemies attack you, because they will shoot, I guess, little energy balls at you, and you have to find which weapons work for you. Along the way, you'll find randomly placed weapons that have different perks, different abilities, things like that. And then you can also find chests and upgrade your weapons with these things. But keep in mind, if you die, you start over back at square one. It does have some good features. I'll say on top of that, it does immerse you with the 3D audio if you have the 3D Pulse headsets. The haptic feedback and the triggers on the DualSense are actually pretty intense as well. This is probably the best game so far to take advantage of the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller. So it really does feel like a next-gen built game, which is amazing, and it's awesome to look at. If you look at it, it has this very dark, sinister sci-fi vibe that you see in a lot of sci-fi movies today. It may seem a little generic at times because the enemy design is kind of generic. After a while, it just seems like you're just looking at a lot of blue and gray. Typically, when you think of sci-fi, you don't think of some vibrant, colorful type of thing unless you're thinking of like Avatar or something like that. But this gives you the distinct feeling of like a horror sci-fi type of environment where it's really dark, it's archaic. You'll go along like some ancient looking ruins and xenoglyphs and stuff as you progress through these stages, but it's really not that complicated of a design once you step back and look at the environment. it really seems like a little bit of genericness with the art direction. With that said, I do think the cutscenes are pretty cool. I think it looks pretty great. The music gets pretty intense, but you know, there's nothing really memorable to write about when it comes to the enemies, the bosses, and even the main character herself. But it is pretty cool. The character's name is Celine. She's basically stranded on this planet. That's the premise. All you need to know. The objective, you just kind of follow along and die, rinse and repeat in this game loop cycle, which I gotta be honest, when I was done playing this game on stream last night, I played it for about 3 hours on stream. I felt mentally burned out. I was like, man, this game takes its toll on you because it's that challenging and it's that hard. You will literally feel like you took like a 100 question math quiz when you're done with this, because this game is brutal. It is absolutely brutal going through everything. Now, the idea is you go on a run. These runs could take you about an hour or so to complete, but you can't save your game. Let's say you make it all the way to the boss, which I did. You die, you have to start over for square one. Now, thankfully, there are some items such as your melee sword that does stay with you should you die, so it allows you to progress through the stage a lot quicker. You can make your way to the boss almost immediately if you wanted to, but you don't really want to take the risk of dying with the boss, so you want to go and grind, power up your character, get whatever weapon loadout you want and abilities. That way your character can be strong enough to beat the boss. It's pretty standard when it comes to a roguelite. Again, it was pretty unique and different to see this type of genre put into a 3D environment. Again, I don't know. As far as it being a $70 worth the type of game, if you don't like roguelites, if you think that this game would be a little bit too punishing and doesn't feel like it's a fully fleshed out game, you might be right with that assumption. I feel kind of like, okay, this is good, but I don't think the replay value is enough for $70. Now, sure, you might be after 2-3 tries, you might be like, okay, let's give it one more chance, but it does beat you down. Maybe that's because I need to get good, but the general consensus is that the game loop starts to get old after a while. The game just, all roguelites suffer from this problem. It just becomes a little too repetitive, even with the procedurally generated stuff, the random item placement, the random enemy placement. This game is a little pricey for what it is at $70. I don't see this going on sale anytime soon, maybe a couple months from now, but it just came out. So people that are waiting for it to drop to like 40, you might be waiting quite a bit. I've seen mixed reviews of this game. I think a majority of it is because they think it's a little too hard. Keep in mind, I'm not docking this game because it's hard at all. The only thing I could really dock against this game is its price. I don't think $70 is worth it, again, for the type of genre. A roguelike game, it's all depending on what kind of stroke of luck or success you have playing the game. You have to grind for several hours, and yeah, that gives you a lot of time with the game itself, but I just feel that initially $70 is too much to ask for a gameplay cycle, like a loop that is really hard to get out of. Getting past that first boss is like next to impossible without playing this game for several hours. So I liked it, but yeah, I think it's a little too high in price. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.